Welcome to Forge Down Under. Let's meet our judges. Shane Savage, Nick Graham, and our guest judge, Marty Vinstra. Let's get into it. Welcome to the third episode of Forge Down Under Contestants. What we'll be doing today is a Viking theme, and your challenge will be a Viking dagger. We're very interested to see how you go. You'll have a 3-hour forging component where your goal is to get as much done as you can for the theme-based challenge.
Each episode has a theme and is made up of 3 rounds. Contestants receive a challenge that they must start in round 1 and finish in round 2. Each round is judged based on a rubric, and the final score from both round 1 and 2 combined will decide who moves on to round 3, where they will get a new and more advanced challenge. The winner of round 3 will become a Forge Down Under champion.
Here we go, guys. Here's your materials. Make sure you choose carefully.
All right, contestants, your material for this part of the competition is common car lift spring, which a lot of beginners will just get from a car yard. It is a really versatile entry-level material, and most makers are pretty familiar with working with it. Or coil springs, which is also another versatile beginner material. Okay guys, pick wisely. You have 2 options of material, and it just depends what you're more comfortable with.
Hi, I'm Richard, I'm 26 and I've been smithing for 5 or 6 years. I run Heartland Forge. My interest, I would say, is more historical based. I'm now getting into swords some more, so I really enjoy that sort of the side of it. Otherwise it's sort of hunters and bushcrafters with a little bit of chef knives mixed in, but I haven't done too much of them.
I'm Nathan Butcher from Northern Iron Forge from Townsville in Queensland, and I specialise in making hammers and knives and other tooling, barbecue tools, stuff like that. I got interested in participating in the show just for a bit of fun. I like to challenge myself and learn new things, and just a bit of exposure for the brand a bit as well.
I'm Cameron. I've been forging for about 5 years now. I came in at short notice after an injury, so I wasn't expecting that, and it's really lucky for me to be able to come on the show and prove myself. Yeah, the experience of the others is a bit daunting. They have their own shops and running it as business, whereas I'm very much doing it when I have time, and that's not very often. It's definitely stressful. I'm trying to look at it just as something to have fun with and learn new things and try new things, and it doesn't matter if I get through or not, it's just going to be fun.
Okay guys, your time starts now.
Personally, I would have chosen the coil.
Yeah? Same.
Leaf spring, it's always an unknown value. It can flex during travel on a vehicle, work hard and get fractures. You can spend hours to days working on something and then go to heat treat it and get that ting sound, and realise that all your work's been for nothing.
Right, we should all stand here like this. Makes it heat up quicker.
Yeah, exactly.
Same as cooking.
you got much of a design in mind?
I'm making a short sax, so short stabbing dagger.
Yep.
They did make them longer as short swords as well.
Pop on your hip.
Yeah, cut your dinner, stab it right next to you.
Beautiful. Nice. Oh, good luck.
Cheers, mate.
So you feel pretty good about the choices you made?
Sort of. I'm just going with the flow at this point. It's changed about 4 times since my initial mix-up with the press. It's been a while since I've used one, so I sort of forgot how much it, especially with the radius die, it cupped on me a bit. So I had to come back to power hammer, flatten it back out. So I spent the first 10 minutes doing something different than what I wanted. I'm happy with where it's going in my head at the moment, but we'll see how it goes in the next hour.
How do you feel you're doing?
Not too bad. The power equipment certainly speeds things up a lot.
Yeah?
Miles ahead of where I would have been without it.
Oh, that's true. So you got the idea in your head of what you want as a finished product?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. I'm just going for more of a sack style with maybe like a sharpened back edge on it, so.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can see you're forging your bevels in, so you're already up to that step, are you?
Yeah, I believe so, yep.
Yeah, can you explain to us why you're doing that?
Essentially, it's, there's less grinding. Like it's forging the knife to shape. You're bringing in some distal taper, and getting the final dimensions that I sort of want.
Yeah.
And then it saves a lot on grinding as well.
So basically an hour in, and you already have your rough profile and you're forging the bevels in. That's impressive. Good job.
Oh, thank you.
Looking forward to see how it goes.
From my research, Vikings don't generally have double-edged daggers, but because it is a Viking-themed dagger challenge, I'm going to do a dagger that is Viking-themed. So yeah, I've gone for a double-edged dagger. This is going to be a typical Viking-style pommel that you normally see on their sax knives and swords. And I have to draw it in a bit because obviously it's not going to have a guard because it's not hidden tang. And I don't really want to have enough time to try and mess around putting massive bolsters on there to make a guard. Yeah. So I'm just going to grind a bit more there so your hand has something to stop. So,
Cool.
What are you doing there?
So I've striped my centre line, close to a centre line as I can get.
Yeah.
I've roughed out where I want my handle to stop and start, and now I'm just measuring out my pins.
Nice.
So
you've obviously gone with a full tang.
Yep.
You're going to save you a bit of time with like glue ups and stuff?
Yeah, I said to myself I wasn't going to mess around in an unfamiliar workshop by trying to do something I'm not very good at to start with.
Yep.
So full tang, it means I can spend more time making the blade as good as I can. I know I can make a handle relatively comfortable, especially with full tang.
Yep.
There's no fancy shapes going on, so it's not going to be too hard to make it comfortable, hopefully.
Today's not the day for trial and error.
That's exactly right. Bad time not to know how to sharpen drill bits.
You right, mate?
I've dropped a little bit of steel in there and I'm trying to get it out.
Oh, it's went into the slag pile.
Yeah.
All right.
So I've put my piece I was going to use for my pommel in the forge, and it's fallen in there, and it's taken a bit to get it out.
All the borax eats away at the liner of your forge, right? So he had his little pummel and it fell into the bloody cave in his forge, so you can't get it out now. It was like 800, 900 degrees. I really like what you're doing there. Looks like an anchor.
Yeah, well, I'm aiming for the Mjolnir cross, like the Viking cross.
Ah, that's sick. I hope you.
Most confident, so I'm going to soften the tang for one, and also then just run a bit of heat up and let it bleed back through, give it like a second temper.
Right,
Because
okay.
I haven't done too many flame testers, so.
Fair enough.
And the tip didn't get as yellow as I wanted, but it was starting to overheat down here, so I had no choice but to sort of dunk it off.
Right, okay.
So I'm going to try and get a bit more heat through that tip.
Right, and you're going to do that through the tang, or you're going to do that?
I'm going to start with softening the tang and then just sort of work up along the edge of the spine slowly a little bit, and just as I need to, dunk in the water.
All right, not a problem. Well, we're running out of time. I'll leave you to it. You can get back into it.
I found when I was first learning, having oversized handles makes it extremely difficult to shape your scales from it.
Yeah.
So as I was saying earlier, 5 to 10 mil is also a good opportunity. Sort of think about it, gives you a lot of leeway.
Yeah, I found that out hard way. Like when I started out, I oversized everything and just learned to hate making the handles because all I was doing was just grinding into it. And now I try and split my scales to be as thin as possible and as close as I can be to my final dimension, so I've got the least amount of material to actually remove. Yeah. You know, but it's hard to be able to sort of like visualize that sometimes.
Oh, it's extremely difficult. And it's the same thing I always say to students, right? One of the very, very first things you need to get is proportionality in design.
Yeah.
That is the most critical in my part. And that brings us into our sponsor, Knife Print. It's funny, actually, when I first got into knife making, I got onto knife print straight away, and I really believe it's one of the reasons why I got good so quickly. Not only was I good at taking on feedback and putting it on board, which is a different sort of discussion we can have, so some people aren't good at implementing feedback, but not only what knife print does, it's basically an online CAD program where it lets you fiddle around with little bits of knife design. Yep. So it gives you the really quick ability to see whether it's even worth you spending the time to make. And as we know with anything handmade, if you start with a good foundation, a good design, you're going to improve a lot better.
That's right. Once again, it's another thing I struggled with when I started out, and I think everyone struggles with it when they start making is how do knife? Yeah. Like, you know, knives look a certain way, and when you get into it, you'll want to make this perfect knife that you've never seen before, and usually there's a reason why that knife doesn't exist, and it's because it doesn't work and it's not going to be good. But a lot of people spend that first 12 months of making sort of learning these lessons the hard way. But something as simple as a visual reference, like a repository of knife designs that you can pick from, modify, take inspiration from.
That's another good thing that they do, yeah. So if you're a knife designer, you can actually have a repository where you can have a look at other people's designs, not only give you a good idea if that's the style you like, you could also copy that design and give it a go.
No, to have all that in a database. Well, when I started, we never had anything like that. If we did, I would have used it straight away. And listening to you guys now, I want to get this.
Definitely give it a go.
And give it a go. I was always the same. Everything was too big, too thick. I spent a lot of time on the grinder, taking things down.
Yep.
Having something like knife print, the database, being able to go and change and alter the shapes,
just tweak things
of the blades and the handles and everything. It sounds great.
Check out knifeprint.com and use code FDU25 for 25% off your first purchase.
Most carbon steels will heat treat above non-magnetic, and being 5160, it heat treats about 815 to 830 degrees, which is just above non-magnetic. So as long as my magnet doesn't stick, because it sticks there, so that's not hot enough, but it doesn't stick there, so that's very nearly ready. So I'm moving it in and out, because single burner forges generally have hot spots. So I'm keeping it as good as I can, let it sit, move it up and down so it doesn't go in still oil. And he looks pretty straight. If there is a little bit, there's nothing I can't grind out anyway, so.
Remaining 30 minutes.
Better now. I was struggling a bit with the tang, but I think I've righted it pretty well, and I'm very happy with the shape and everything. So, and how just got to get a bit more weight off, and then I'm good. 10 minutes! 10 minutes, guys! One
1 minute, guys. 1 minute left. All right, time's up, guys. Tools down. Congratulations, you mostly got through the first part. All right, Nathan, first part of the competition's done. How do you think you went?
Yeah, I think I did fairly well. I think I'm pretty close to a finished blade. It's pretty straight. I'm just down to basically handle work now and an edge, and I think it's pretty well done.
Okay, so you think you're on track to hit your goals at the second part?
Yeah, I think so far, yeah. I think it should come up pretty good.
All right. How do you feel about the thickness and weight?
It's pretty hefty, but I've also tried to thin the edges down as much as I could and try to get it nice and slicey, but trying to stick to a nice thin point for obviously being a dagger, so.
All right, no, good job. We'll see how you go in judging.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Cameron, how do you think you went for the first part?
Better than I thought I would, to be honest. Ran into a few problems using gear I'm not familiar with and a few techniques I had to figure out as I was going that I've not really had to come across. But I'm very happy with how I've ended up.
Okay. Are you done grinding or you still
definitely a bit more, but not too much more. That's about how I want the spine and tang. It's just the edge now.
Okay. How do you think you're on track for the second part?
Should be good. I did a little bit of prep work on pommel and guard, so I can pick that up, and it's I can do a burn through simple handle. So.
Right, no worries. Good to see how you go.
Cheers, mate.
All right, Richard, how do you think you went for the first part?
Oh, I felt pretty good. I ended up changing my initial design about 5 times in my head due to about my early mistake on the press, but I think I came back from it. I've still got some designs I'd like to put into it still, but we'll see how we go.
I'm really liking your shape and what you did with the pummel. Sorry, guys, no. It is looking good.
Yeah.
Not that you guys aren't looking good. All right. How do you think you're going? Are you on track for the second part of the competition? Did you hit all your goals?
I did. I feel like I'm doing pretty good. I got most of the bevels rough ground in anyway. I still need to do some more grinding to that, obviously. The handle shouldn't take me too long, but if I hate myself enough, I might even do some hand sanding on the blade. We'll see how we go.
Everyone says that and they never do. Good luck though. All right, guys, we're going to get into the judging. So we're going to kick you guys outside and we'll get through it and then we'll give you your feedback.
All right, great job everyone on that first round. Big efforts from all competitors. Nath, I'm going to have a look at yours first. I was blown away with how quickly you threw this together. I love the grinds on it. I think it's still a touch thick. You're going to have to just suck it and see if you're going to keep your forge finish, and I'm eager to see how you finish it out. So I gave you a total of 12 points.
I really like what you've done in a short amount of time. A lot of people watching this at home don't really realise 3 hours is not much time, especially for the theme and sort of general sort of idea we give you. I think so far you've sort of aced it with fit for purpose and theme. Really love the sort of false edge up here. Again, not too happy with the thickness of it, but it may not be detrimental. So we'll have to see how you work around that. So basically I've also given you a score of 12. Congratulations. Thank you.
I like the fact that you've gone with the traditional CX shape. I'll do. I think the blade could possibly be a little heavy, a little thick. I like the grind on the back of the blade. Also like your forged finish at the top. So pretty happy with what you've done. You've done a good job. I've given you a total of 11 points.
Right, congratulations, Nathan.
Thank you.
Cameron.
Yep.
So for your knife, I know you had some struggles early on. It's been a little bit of a time since you jumped out of the game of making knives, and I think that hindered you early on, but very quickly you adapted to it, and the game sort of just took off for you. Yep. So with your knife, I love the design, the CX shape, the proportionabilities of it. I would have liked the grinds to be a little bit neater, but you still have plenty of time to refine those through the rest of the build. With everything you've achieved in these 3 hours, I've given you a score of 8 points.
So again, for coming in with the little experience and not making for such a long time, and you don't have access to all the tools we have, you've done an incredibly good job, so you should be proud of yourself. I like that you started the pommel. I do see that you started the handle a little bit as well, so you've done a pre-planning, and I do believe we had a bit of a discussion about you've only partially ground the knife due to time constraints. And that is the good thing about the way we judge. You still have plenty of time to catch up. Okay, so I really like what you're doing so far. Your thickness is pretty much spot on. So good job. I've given you a total score of 10.
Thank you.
Traditional CX shape, I like that. I also like the width of the blade, the proportions of the blade, everything is all in proportion. Once again, the grinds, you know, not bad, but I'm sure that you'll improve when you run out of time. You were working with tools that you weren't used to, learning, you know, to use the machines. I'm actually quite impressed on how quickly you took to that and your learning experience. I've given you a total of 9 points.
Thank you.
All right, Richard, lucky last, or is it unlucky?
Yeah.
We'll find out, yeah.
This thing's cool as all get out, right? It's still got a lot of ways to go, like all the knives, but I can already see where your finished destination is. It's been a pretty rock solid plan once you start refining into it. That Molnir, or however you pronounce it, pommel at the end, Viking as, really sets the theme. When we said dagger, you heard it. That's a dagger, no matter how you look at it. If I were to pick something that could be improved, maybe the thickness in that tang, it is quite back heavy, but I really had to search to find something I didn't like about it. For those reasons, I gave you 12 points total. Great work.
All right, Richard, again, I absolutely love what you've done with the tang, love the profile. Really, really interested to see how you go grinding, because at this stage I do see where your end point is, and it really comes down to grinding, fit and finish, and handle shape for me is how you'll go at the end of the day. So really looking forward to seeing what you're doing. My feedback again, handle may be a bit thick, but there's plenty of ways to fix that so far. We'll interested to see how you go. So I gave you total points of 12. Congratulations.
Cheers.
You really embraced the dagger theme. I heard you say before that you were unsure whether it was Viking. Vikings did pick up a lot of weapons from battles and take them home. I think it's very bold of you to have gone for the diamond section blade. I like that. I like your confidence in yourself. The Miona on the end was a very nice touch. Your balance is a little bit out on the blade. A little bit heavy on the handle. Overall, I like it. It's a good looking blade. I've given you a total of 12 points.
All right, congratulations guys. That's the first forging component done of today's competition. Again, a 3-hour competition. You guys have smashed out of the ballpark. I'm really, really interested to see if anyone overcomplicates it or, you know, sort of loses the lead they could possibly have. So good job guys, congratulations. So the current score is sitting at Nathan 35, Cam 27, and Richard 36. So the scores are still really close. So good luck guys. We'll get into the next part of the competition. Contestants, we are on to the last part. You have 3 hours to complete your product completely. I highly recommend you really think about how you approach this and do not overcomplicate it. If you have time at the end, you can get those little details in, guys. Good luck. Your time starts now.
Happy with this temper?
Not 100%, but I can't requint it now really, so...
Do you think that's worth the risk though?
You still have time to heat treat it again if you want.
I'll probably consider it, I think. It is pretty far in a few bits, especially towards the tip, so maybe I should give it another shot. Yeah.
I don't think you'd have anything to lose going for a second heat treat other than the 10 minutes it would take to do.
Yeah, and I can do some of the handle work while I do that anyway, so it's not the end of the world.
So how do you plan on fitting that handle to your blade?
So I'm going to do like a metal guard basically and a metal butt cap. I'm going to sort of get it all together and then drill a pinhole, put a pin through it. And that's part of the reason I soften the tang right off as well.
Yep.
So, yeah. And then I'll just round it all together, like shape it all together.
Makes sense. Oh, well, good luck.
No, thank you.
I buggered up the temper, so trying to fix it on this run.
How you feeling about that?
All right. I would like to have started work on the blade before the handle, but I'll just do the other way around and do some handle work while I wait. So, it's not the end of the world, but it's a setback.
I was hoping this was bog oak, but it's more than likely probably ancient red gum. If it was bog oak, it would have fit the Viking theme awesomely. But I'm trying to toss up between looks and lightness, because one of the judges' comments was my blade was a bit too heavy. So I've done some fullery, taken some weight out. I can't really take any more off it because I've pretty much ground it to final finish, and I need to keep that for the theme. So the other way I can help keep it light is using a lighter wood or a light handle material. So I'm trying to currently work that out.
Second heat treat's gone fantastically. I'm really happy with it. Now I really need to get stuck into the grinding, get off some material, get the edge sorted, and then work on the handle. Grind like my life depends on it.
Filed out my guard slot,
Yep.
filed out my handle slot, I'm drying all my pinhole and all of that, and I'm pretty much now just going to glue it all up in epoxy. Just put it all together, really, and then I'll shape the handle from there.
Well, good stuff. I look forward to seeing what it comes out like.
Yeah.
Glue is something you don't want to cheap out on in knife making. A high quality glue with a high heat resistance and a strong bond will ensure that your knife handle will last a long time.
Can you tell us what you've done with this beautiful bit of heavy metal?
So essentially, in the rush with the 5-minute epoxy, I couldn't find a clamp that was going to be big enough or fit properly.
Yep.
So I've just used a big chunk of steel as a weight to hold everything together until the glue sets.
Yep, that's the Australian way, mate. She'll be right.
Pretty much, yeah.
So what do we got here?
I've got some silver birch and some blue G10, so I'm just working on my handle. I'm ideally going to try and chamfer the top curve so it's in.
Yep.
So it's got a nice grip. But I don't know if I'll be able to do that with what I've got time-wise, so we'll see how we go.
And I like your progress, but I love the colour choice of the timber and the liners. I think you pointed out earlier that you were trying to sort of highlight a bit of the Nordic theme with having the blue from the sea,
Yeah.
balanced against the nice light wood.
That being birch, it's that sort of European wood area.
Yep.
So it's
Nah, you're doing really, really well. You got any issues that you're worried about? You got to sort out?
Not really. I think I finished most of them in the first round in terms of issues. I'm feeling pretty. Just under 2 hours. I'm feeling pretty calm, pretty confident.
Ah, nice.
But from now on, it's just what I normally do anyway.
So how are you approaching the handle? What's your fit up sort of
I was
style?
originally going to do a bolster steel one, but I don't think I have time. So
Yep.
I'm considering just having a bit of a decorative, different tone bolster at the
Yeah,
front,
okay.
just to sort of give it something, because I think historically not all of them had, well, very few had guards, and I don't think many had even bolsters. Some of the more simple ones.
Yeah,
Peasant
yeah.
one would just have the wood. So
as we touched on earlier in the judging, a lot of the weapons the Vikings tended to use were picked up from their conquered foes. So.
And I mean, a lot of levies and stuff, it would have just been their dinner knife that
that's
they
it.
use as well. So it's
so there's no hard and fast rule on what it's got to be.
Yep.
No, I like it. And you feel you're progressing pretty good?
Yeah.
Yep. Plenty of time
Should
left.
be enough time for the handle and sharpening, no problem.
Should be easy. So once you're done cleaning up around the front here with that squeeze out, where's your next move? You've got some rough dimensions put into your handle, I see.
Yeah, I've just basically squared everything up so I can see what's going on, and I'm going to sort of work it out from there.
Are you a texture sort of guy? Or you sort of let the wood speak to you and become the handle it wants to become? Or do you like to design them and sort of plan them out?
Bit of both, really.
Yeah?
I'm going to design this one a little bit.
I'm a bit the same. I'll draw a picture and then change it once I've finished the knife so that they match.
But I'm also going to, I'm not usually too set in the plan, so if it sort of starts going a different way during, then so be it.
Yeah, well, being able to adapt to it's pretty important. So. I like everything so far, man.
Yeah. Just work out how to make it look the best.
A little less square.
Yeah, that would help.
Sure to grab it when you can. Good. Got it. Ah, the little one broke, but that's fine. Oh, fuck. Fucking hell.
You want me to turn this off?
Yeah. Oh, that's a pain in the ass. Too hard with it, not hot enough.
Rightio, the 5-minute epoxy. So you got plenty of time to have a chat to me.
Exactly what I started out with. There's no pressure at all.
When you mix your two parts, what do you think is the most important thing when you're doing your mixing? You know, especially when it's a 5-minute epoxy like this.
Make sure your pins have enough room that they slide in easy, but not being too loose.
Yep.
One of my troubles early on was really trying to put the pins through the handle when they were already sort of gluing, and that was a terrible time.
Yeah, you don't want to find out that there's a small problem after you've started mixing the glue. So you'll have no time to fix it.
I've pre-tapered my pins.
Yep.
And I've used 120 grit belts, so they're relatively smooth, so they should go in.
Bit of epoxy on the pins as well.
Probably just comes off, but it's a nice little extra.
Hey, if it's worth doing, it's worth overdoing.
Yeah, let's chuck it in here. 5-minute epoxy, probably sure.
always say this, right? Handle shaping is harder than people think because it's so important that the profile, indexability and comfortability is right.
Yeah.
So how do you feel you're going at the moment for indexability?
I think it's pretty indexable, yeah. It's still got a little bit of shaping left to go, but...
What about this swinging?
Yeah, I think it'd be,
Yeah? My only concern is there's no swell on the back where it can slide out.
Yeah, see, personally, I like to slightly taper the bottom side just a hair because in my hand, without looking at it, I don't know if I'm holding it upside down or the right way. Okay? So for me, I'd want to be able to, if you handed this to a blind person, would they be able
Little issues, honestly. Cameron is absolutely running out of time. Like, he's going to really be right on it.
He's had a good comeback from how he started off.
He's a great comeback, but at the same time, he can't stop that push. The push that he started to come back, he's got to consistently keep that pace going right the way to the end to be able to finish neck and neck with these two.
And that little setback on the handle.
Yeah. That was an easy 20 minutes.
Ten minutes! Two minutes, guys! If you're not done, get done soon! One minute remaining. Five,
doing something.
4, 3, 2, 1. Tools down. All right, congratulations, contestants. Everyone has gotten through today and everyone has done some really nice work. So we're about to get into destruction testing. So, Nathan, do you think you achieved everything you set out to do for the competition today?
Yeah, I think it's come out as good as I could have hoped. I would have liked to have done a little bit better in some certain areas, but I'm fairly happy with the outcome.
All right, are you still concerned about the belly?
Ideally it would have been a bit thinner, but it sort of is what it is with the time constraint, so I've left it as is.
Okay, you happy with how you've reshaped that handle?
Again, it could have been better, but I think it's come up better than what it was.
All right, well, we'll see how you go. Cameron, how do you think you went, mate?
Not great in the fit and finish part of it. I was really happy with it, how I had it forged at the end of that section, but my fit and finish has always been a bit of a weak point, and I like to take my time with it, and not having the chance to do that, I've made a few mistakes that
She's
I
balanced
struggled to
really,
come back
really
from.
well, though.
Yeah, it just looks like a mess, and it's not super sharp, I don't think.
We'll see. We'll get into the judging soon.
No
Good
worries.
job.
Thank you.
How do you think you went for today?
Well, after I did my initial few redesigns, I think I achieved everything I wanted to. There was a few design elements I wanted to add that I didn't get around to, just because by the time I thought them out, they would have taken sort of longer than I wanted. So, under time crunch, I did what I could. So.
Yep, just for everyone at home, 6 hours goes very, very quickly. Good job, everybody. We'll get into the destruction test, and then we'll get into judging and see who's going into the advanced round. All right, good job. All right, congratulations, guys. We are now up to destruction testings. So I guess I shouldn't say congratulations yet, and we'll see how you go. All right, Marty.
Nathan, let's see how it performs.
Now, Marty, we'll be doing a slice test. We have very thick leather hide to see how it sort of goes cutting. And then we'll be doing a stab test where we have some 1mm plate behind it to sort of see how it would go through armour. All right, Marty.
Didn't slice too bad. Let's try the stab test. Goes in a little bit. All in all, not too shabby.
Cameron, your turn. How you feeling? Confident?
Not super confident.
So this first test will be to test the sharpness of the edge and also the penetrative abilities of the tip. We'll be stabbing into this carpet and then cutting down to that line. You ready?
Yep.
Pretty good, pretty good. Performed really, really well. Went in fairly well, cut down a little bit towards the middle at court, but continued to cut pretty easily. Well done. So now we're going to do the cut test. I'm going to do a cut across the leather here to see how that edge retained its sharpness. And then we're going to do another stab test through the leather and then through this 1mm plate armour into the meat. So. Not too bad, not too bad. A little bit of a dull spot in the middle, but for the most part, the blade's fairly sharp. Doesn't really want to go through that metal. We'll just try a slow push. I think it's a little round across the front that is affecting how it's able to penetrate hard targets. Soft, it doesn't seem to have an issue. Hard target, a little bit more trouble. Overall, pretty good result. Good job.
Thanks. All right, Richard, lucky last. Or are you unlucky?
Yeah, we'll find out.
Did you name this, by the way?
I did not.
Is Mjolnir right?
Oh, yes, for the Thor, so yeah.
All right, there we go. So, we'll come around and do the tests. So, I'll be doing a cut test just like everybody else, in and down, to see how you are in sharpness-wise. It's good, very good. It's very easy to index too when I want to slide, so good job. So now I'll be doing a slice test to see how it goes through this leather. I actually went quite deep, so all the way through. Good job. Now for the stab test. How are you thinking you're going to go?
I'm a little nervous. I'm hoping the diamond cross-section helps a bit, but it's a bit thin at the tip, so...
All right. I think it succeeded.
Tip's still there.
All right, so I'll do the push test just as well, just to see how we go. Good job. Passed all 3 tests. All right, contestants, destruction testing have been done. Cut testing has been done. Everyone passed with no damage. Good job. What we're getting into now is final judging for the day. But before we continue, Nathan, can you please explain to us why you believe your item fits in the theme?
Did a little bit of research when I had a chance, and traditionally a Viking dagger is more of a sack shape. So I sort of went that direction, but I did add in that sharpened clip, the false edge. So it's more of a dagger point to it. So I think it performs how a dagger should, as well as having that traditional shape.
All right, good job. Cameron, can you tell us why you think your item fits in the theme?
I knew from the start that I wanted to do a very traditional sax. I had planned to do a long sax for years and I just haven't got around to it. With the completely parallel belly and spine, and the clip just looks great.
Well, you smashed multiple goals today then. Yeah. All right, Richard, can you tell us why you believe yours is in theme?
Well, I made the pommel sort of like Thor's hammer, and being the dagger, I made it like Odin's spear. I used silver birch, which is like European wood, so it matches with the Viking theme, and I used some blue G10 for the ocean as they cross the ocean. So
that is very thought out. Do you believe it's within theme, even though it is fantasy?
I would like to think so. I'm sure there's probably some one that was made like that at one point that we never found. So who knows?
All right, good job. Well, we'll get straight into judging. So, Nick.
All right, Nathan. So, I love this thing, man. Watching you put this together from start to finish was an awesome thing. It was really well thought out, and it, for me, in my eyes, my opinion, definitely lands in that dagger and Viking sort of theme. The double edge, definitely dagger. The CX, nice sort of light blonde wood, very, very Viking. The fit and finish on it is awesome, but if I had to pick something I didn't quite like, it'd be the thickness and that forward weight in the blade, making it feel slightly more like a chopper than like a CX or a dagger. But still, for all these reasons, I gave you a total of 20 points. Good job.
Thank you.
Absolutely love what you've done. I was concerned about the weight to begin with, but actually I don't mind it too much. If you really think about Viking, they would have loved heavy stuff. The big war axes, so I really think it's on theme. Design, proportionality, fit and finish, pretty good for the time constraints. So really, really good job on that. Good job on reshaping the handle. That feels much better.
Thank you.
And yeah, I really, really like overall. So I gave you a total score of 22. Congratulations.
I think when you went for the Viking design, CX, certainly nailed the shape. I do like the second edge here at the back. Earlier on I was a bit worried about your handle being too big. Fit and finish I think is great. I really do. I like the forged finish here. I was worried about the weight and the spine being thick. Going by how a CX was used, if your mast of your ship broke and you got caught in the rigging, you would easily be able to chop through a rope with that. It stabbed easily through the carpet. I used very little effort to go and push that through the leather and tin with the meat underneath. I thought that was great. Stabbing was great. I think you've done a really good job. I gave you a total of 23.
Cameron. I love the proportions of this. Balance-wise, that's perfect. Look at that. That is right where you'd want that balance to be. So they're equal parts, blade and handle, so that once it's in your hand, it's just neutral and easy to maneuver. Okay? There are a few spots on here that I reckon if you'd pushed yourself, you could have got a little bit better. Mainly the grind and how you went about sharpening it. Ate a little bit into the belly, and it may have affected the cut test very, very minimally, but at the end of the day, it did the job. Your fit and finish is got a little bit left to be desired, but with time constraints, you can only get so much done in such a little time, especially if you have like anything go wrong, like the handle that came apart in the original one. Easily lost yourself a good 20 minutes just there. So the fact that you finished with a piece, especially this good, amazing, okay? So for all those reasons, I gave you a total score of 16 points. Great work, bro.
Cameron, again, first thing I noticed when I was playing with today, there was a balance. I would just love being a knife fight with this one. It goes really well. Some of the reenactors I know would absolutely love this. And if you look at it, like it is a nice, rough, rustic design, which would not be, not out of place back in the day. So overall, I think you aced the theme. What I really would like to say is you've done an incredibly good job for your skill level and actually just coming in and giving it a go. For the challenge you had with the reheat treating twice, putting a handle on it twice, in someone else's workshop and in a timed environment, you did impressively well. You should be very proud of yourself. Overall, I gave you a score of 16, so good work.
Thank you.
I like it. It's light in the hand. It's easy to move. Once again, I think your balance is nice. You picked a very nice piece of timber with good colouring in it for the handle. Fit and finish is very rustic and no doubt very close to what they would have had back in the day. All in all, I think for what you've done, as Shane said, strange workshop, different tools. You went in, you had a crack at using tools you'd never used before, right? That takes guts. And you managed to nail the shape and everything of the blade. You had a little bit of a mess up with your heat treat, but you went straight back in and you heat treated again. And I was impressed that you had the confidence to go back in and heat treat, even with the time running out. With your handle, once again, small mishap, but you went straight back into it, you went straight onto it, you did not give up. I believe this has been a really good learning experience for you. Quite impressed. I think you've done a great job. Well done, mate.
Thank you.
Well done. We'll give you a score of 17.
Congratulations, Cameron.
Cheers.
Richard, lucky last. Are you going to keep the trend of being lucky?
Oh, let's find out again.
Hefty dagger. So they're a heavy one, but it is proportionate. The balance is a little bit further back, but it's still quite a good balance, especially for a dagger. Your grinds are extremely accurate. I had to work pretty hard to find flaws with this, and I looked for them. And the only ones I could really nail down was the slight misalignment of your plunge lines, okay? And that's something that could have been fixed with 10 seconds touching it on a grinder, but it could have also ruined the entire project if you'd done it wrong. How it performed through the destruction tests, perfectly. There was no damage. It performed all the tasks without any issues at all. And I'm really happy with it all. The theme, the appearance, the finish, terrific work. For these reasons, I gave you a total of 21 points. Great work.
Cheers.
Richard, absolutely love it. Love what you did with the handle. Love what you did with the blade. It's 100% proportionate in my eyes. It feels really good with the hand. I think it was a really good idea going back and just getting that indexability right. It just feels good. I personally, not a big problem with the weight on it. Again, due to back then, they weren't really too stressed about having things perfectly balanced, you know what I mean? So fit and finish, fit for purpose, all of it for me. There's really not much I can find out wrong other than a few little grindy things, but you did pick the hardest one to grind as well, so, and in a time environment, so I'm not too stressed about that. So overall, very, very impressed, and I gave you a total score of 23.
Thanks.
Richard, I said beforehand that it was very bold of you to choose a diamond grind. For what you've done with the time, it's reasonably accurate. There's a few little inconsistencies with the grind that I'm not really going to pick fault with. I think it's well done. As far as how it feels in the handle's comfortable, it feels good in the hand. Moves well, feels good. I like the Mjolnir here on the end. All in all, I think that you've done a great job. I did ask you if there was anything else you had or wanted to do in the last few minutes, just to look over it, to see if you wanted to. And the reason I said that is when you put the oil on the handle, you just missed a couple of little bits here at the end.
Yeah.
All right. The other thing I would have loved to have seen, I mean, don't get me wrong, this is a fantastic blade. It's really good. I'm very impressed. I would have liked to have seen a slight bevel here on the ends of the handles. Just that extra couple of minutes on the belt grinder to do that would have really turned this into a great blade.
I didn't try and trust doing a freehand, so.
But, I gave you a total of 22.
Thanks.
All right, congratulations everybody. I think everybody has done exceptionally well. Again, in someone else's workshop, in a time environment, a lot goes wrong. You know, you don't think about a lot. Nathan, I didn't mention this earlier, but you have very good workflow. You think things through, you're very methodical, and it really shows in your work.
Thanks.
Cameron, again, you're very, very impressive just coming into it and giving it a go. I said, for what you managed to achieve, you did impressively well, so you should be really, really proud of yourself again. And Richard, absolutely love it. I really, really, really think I'm going to steal that design. I love what you did with the pummel, and it looks really good and aesthetic. So again, you got a really good workflow. You think things through. You don't let things bother you. You got to go with the flow when it comes to making guides. Things go wrong, and it's just how you perceive it and how you move on, as we were discussing earlier.
Adaptability is a very important part of knife making.
And as we all know, there's multiple ways to do anything in the industry as long as you're happy with how it goes and you always improve on your workflow and you're happy with what you do. That's it. So, judging has been completed. Now we're down to the final scoring. How do you think you all went?
Not too bad, I think. Yeah, it's a good learning experience, so good fun.
Okay.
I'm happy with how it ended up.
Okay.
Good as it could have went with the time we had, so I'm very happy with everyone's accomplishments, to be honest.
Yeah, no, it's super impressive, everybody. So, Cameron, with the total score accumulative for the day, you got 76. Good work.
Thank you.
Nathan, for a total score cumulative 100 points, congratulations.
Well done.
Richard, a total score cumulative for the day, 102 points, congratulations. Richard and Nathan, you are now going through to the advanced part of the day. Cameron, again, really, really impressive what you've done. You should be very, very proud of yourselves.
Well done, guys.
Good job, man.
Working with the other two was great. We all got along and we shared the space quite well, I think, and helped each other out. And so it's just like working with a group of mates, really.
Now that I've passed the first step, there is an even bigger step now. I'm not quite sure what is to come, but I don't know if I'm prepared, but I guess we'll find out. Nathan's a great maker, so it should be a good time.
A big shout out to our awesome Patreons for helping support the show.